A very good evening and happy weekend, and thank you so very much for joining us on BeeTv Major News at 6, reaching you from Benin City, the Edo State capital, Nigeria. We will be moving straight into the news in details. Most persons in this part of the world are very quick to criticize authorities in power with a list of what they could do better. In this special comic report, our correspondent went out to the street of Benin to inquire of citizens what they would do if given the opportunity to be president of Nigeria for a day. The report. In Nigeria, it is always predominant to see people highlighting what the government of the day should do better and most times criticizing their wrong actions. However, when asked if the tables are changed and any of the citizens were given the opportunity to be president of Nigeria for a day, what would they do differently? Here's what they had to say.
No, the only thing I'll collect for my family is I'll give them free will to enjoy government till they die.
I think I'll have to make Nigeria better. There are a lot of things we have to do. This is not a country, as far as I'm concerned. Do you like the way you are living in Nigeria now? Do you like the life you are living? How everybody in the House of Senate, the President, no accountability, no checks and balances, everybody just doing whatever they are doing, taking money as if the money belongs to their families.
I'll give license of cement to like 10 people. Number one. Number two, I go ban domiciliary accounts. You not have more than $20,000 in your domiciliary account, so I never go get value. Number three, I'll bring up the idea of building at least minimum of 3-4 refineries in Nigeria. Then enable farmers, support farmers, teach people how to farm even with water, just like it's been done in China and countries like Seychelles.
Every government store, I will open a government store for rice and beans and everything. Go there with your ID card and carry rice and carry beans each month. You money that belongs to everybody. No, it's not good.
While quite a number of persons spelled out realistic and prudent plans they would put in place if given the opportunity to be the president of Nigeria for a day, others had some fun responses.
I'll bring the fuel down to 100 naira.
You can make life comfortable. The industry will be well powered and everything will be okay in Nigeria. What Nigeria now is someone that will be selfless. That is it.
See, if you are serving public and you are giving 100 naira and you invest 65 naira on the public and keep 35 naira for yourself, I think the public will not complain because they will see that there's work going on.
That one thing when I will do, that will make food abundant, make food sufficient for people to eat. There will be an embezzlement of my government for that moment, because those that are rulers for like 8 years now, they have been embezzled. So nothing has come out of it. So if I also embezzle for one day, I hope nothing will come out of it.
Humans have their shortcomings, so even if many are given a longer time in governance, they will still not be able to meet the needs of the people. Esoe Osemege, reporting for BeeTv News. Hilarious and diverse responses from members of the public when asked to choose between going on a one-month vacation to New York or stay back to be paid 200,000 naira every week in a month. BeeTv News Freeman Osawe reports that most persons said they prefer to go on the vacation than taking the other option, while others opted for the 200,000 payment weekly for a month. The report.
I will prefer to go for vacation in New York for 1 month, says most of the respondents. They said at least with a month vacation, they have opportunities to learn new things, meet new people, compared to getting the sum of 200,000 every week, which they say with the high cost of things, it will not add value to their well-being. They also said that vacation will provide them the opportunity of experiencing life in another part of the world, which they have been clamoring for, as the environment there would provide them the opportunity to do things more easily without going through much stress. Hence, they will settle for the 1 month vacation instead of them to receive the 200,000 naira weekly for a month.
And I think I'll prefer the vacation, because through the vacation, opportunity can come. Once you are not lazy, as a youth, anywhere you go, you can have any opportunity to explore and improve in yourself and also build something out of yourself.
I prefer to go to New York and I think and feel the real life, you know, instead of 200,000 naira. When I know that when I took it to the market to buy something, I will not see the thing I buy.
Now the America, I even prefer to die there.
No, I prefer Nigeria.
Yes, I decided to go to New York for 1 month. Understand why is that they are living there, their hospitality, the atmosphere right there is quite different from this side. You understand? So I believe this will be more better for me to live that side than this way. I'm not only that I would like to experience that way.
The others said they will prefer the 200,000 weekly in a month, stating that with the 200,000 weekly, they can buy foodstuff, fare their vehicles, and meet other needs. They said 1 month vacation will not be enough in enjoying what the city of New York has to offer them, and that it would be difficult to return back to Nigeria, having tasted the lifestyle over there. Instead, they will take 200,000 in a week for a month.
Okay, 200K every week, no, even 200K every month. Why will you talk like that? New York, do you know what I will go and meet there? Give me 200,000 naira every week. I am okay, my brother. I will feed well, I will marry and enjoy my life. Do you know what it means for me to give my wife 100,000 weekend to go and buy something? My brother, what are you talking about? I will use the remaining to fuel my car and go to another work. Leave this month, go and suffer in America.
Just 1 month. Just 1 month. Then you come back. You carry me back to this Nigeria. This hellfire. No, I better stay here and receive the 200K every month. They manage the hellfire. Because this place is hellfire. There's no need to go and test heaven and come back again to hellfire. That is all. If you ask me now to take me to New York and stay for life, you won't even give me 1 naira in New York. You won't give me 1 naira in Nigeria here. I will choose New York. Then I'll go there and find my way anyhow. Even if I starve there, it's better to starve there than to stay here. After testing heaven, you will now come back to the hellfire again. It's not done.
The views from these respondents are, however, funny but as well inspiring. Freeman Usawe reporting for BeeTv News.
And elsewhere, Vice President for improved data collection, analysis, and deployment of technology to generate more comprehensive and inclusive evidence to guide government decisions. Senator Shatima says deploying technology to strengthen data system and institution upgrading, human resources and capacities, and promoting partnerships will guarantee a resilient and equitable future for all Nigerians. The Vice President spoke during the commemoration of the 2024 World Population Day at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, where he observed that this year's theme, which recognizes the power of data and emphasizes the promises of inclusive data, is instructive.
When we have such committees like this, we tend to sort of lose the way a lot. But I think it's for us to be able to say, you know, we're part of it, and you know, our contributions are actually very, very germane.
What we have always tried to do is to accommodate the social protection register, but what we see is that there's usually an overlap. By the time we go through local governments to get into the CDCs and CDAs, we find out that the data we have also from SOCO is essentially a replication. So the CDC would have a larger pool, of which what SOCO would provide to us would already be embedded within the CDC database.
The use of this social register
Vice Chairman South judicial notice to withdraw the letter and publications suspending him as the national vice chairman of the party or face judicial action. The move by Obi follows a yet-to-be discharged order by Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court Abuja, stopping the party at any level taking disciplinary actions against him. BeeTv News Best Orator completes the report.
In a letter to the acting national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Umar Damagu, issued through his solicitors, Dr. O.J. Onoja, Chief Dan Obi affirmed that he had obtained an injunction from the Federal High Court barring the party from launching any action against him. Besides, he has also asked the party to immediately disband the disciplinary committee constituted to try him. Legal counsel to Chief Obi in the letter demands an immediate retraction of the press statement suspending their client as the vice chairman, South-South of the People's Democratic Party. In a petition sent to the defendants, the National Working Committee of PDP and the Independent National Electoral Commission. Counsel to the plaintiff said the suspension of Chief Obi was a violation of the existing position of the Federal High Court on the matter. The counsel further said the suspension was a plot by few individuals who never considered the interest of the party before carrying out such move. In an earlier suit filed at the Federal High Court, the first, second, and third defendants were restrained from effecting the suspension not until the matter is finally decided, and the matter was then adjourned. The court is expected to sit on July 17, 2024 to resume deliberations on the matter, but Chief Dan Obi, who had written through his counsel for a retraction, wondered why the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party would disobey court order, acting as if they were above the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. While he believes that the purported suspension was politically motivated by those who do not mean well for the party, counsel to Chief Obi said the black market suspension will not stand unless the court says otherwise. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
Now, the National Vice Chairman, South-South of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Dan Obi, has served the People's Democratic Party a judicial notice to withdraw the letter and publication suspending him as the National Vice Chairman of the party or face judicial action. The move by Obi follows a yet-to-be discharged order by Justice Peter Alifu of the Federal High Court, Abuja, stopping the party at any level taking disciplinary actions against him. BeeTv News Best Orator brings the reports. Now moving on, the Senate has asked the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetuku, and the Police Service Commission to, as a matter of urgency, drop their personal differences and fight in the interest of Nigerians and for the security of the country, just as they have been asked to work in harmony. BeeTv News Gift Uwagwe completes the report.
That the career, progression, and professional track record of the nominees.
While adopting the report of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs, which recommends confirmation of Ashimu Agungu, Oyemuche Namani, Taiwo Lokanu as Chairman, Secretary, and Member of the Police Service Commission, respectively, the lawmakers stressed the need for collaboration to achieve set targets.
All hands should be on deck in order to reposition Nigerian police for better service to our nation.
To ensure oversight functions hereafter to avoid the mistakes of years, particularly the idea of the Office of the Inspector General of Police struggling with the Police Service Commission on issues of recruitment.
The motion from Senator Ireti Kinigbe urging assistance to victims of the recent Karu Market fire incident was supported.
The FCDA and AMAC to offer the rebuilt shops to the victims at a subsidized and affordable rate in order not to disenfranchise the original owners of the shops. It was a community market, and its status as a community market must be maintained.
Senate adopted a motion that amends its standing rule, adjusting the sitting time for plenary to henceforth hold from 11 a.m. in the morning to 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, the Senate shall meet at 11 a.m.
A bill that seeks to grant control to the Central Bank of Nigeria in relation to dealings and transactions on foreign exchange failed to pass second reading due to fundamental concerns raised by lawmakers.
If we try to bring any policy or any law that will regulate another market, the secondary market, like has been said, from the primary market, there will be a conflict in regulation, and we will end up going into problems.
Trying to come about a new bill will be interfering in the independence that we have already, granted to the CBN.
Price of every commodity is determined by market forces, demand and supply. And so, for us to be able to sustainably stabilize our currency as Naira, we must rejuvenate our real sector.
The wellness of a country's economy is the state of its foreign exchange market, usually regulated by a foreign exchange regime.
The bill for repeal and enactment of Foreign Exchange Act, sponsored by Senator Sani Musa, proposes monitoring and supervising by the CBN of transactions in foreign exchange markets. Gift Uwagbo reporting for BeeTv News.
Now moving on, a couple who were arrested by the police for plotting to sell their 2-year-old son to fund their trip to Canada is one out of 1,000 of other cases of some Nigerians' desperation to seek for greener pastures overseas. Respondents classify such desperate act as evil and inhuman, calling on the government to make society better for citizens to strive to avoid the high level of emigration in the country. The report.
Jagba syndrome, which is a recent high rate of emigration of Nigerian citizens to foreign countries in search of greener pastures, has become a cause for serious deliberations. Although the issue of Jagba syndrome had been discussed innumerably, the Nigerian economic downturn seemed to propel more reasons for its citizens to leave the country and seek better lives elsewhere. In the case of a couple who plotted to sell their 2-year-old son to fund their trip to Canada, shows the level of desperation of citizens to leave the nation and seek for better lives and opportunities elsewhere. In an exclusive interview with some respondents in Benin City, they opined that if given the chance to leave the country, they would do so without looking back. Other than that, the current hardship in the country has forced Nigerians to leave for better opportunities. However, they noted that they did not support selling one's child to foot traveling bills as a term it barbaric and evil.
At least you are not new in the country. Things are very difficult and people want a better life elsewhere. If not for the finances they will make there, but if it is that basic amenities that they are used to, you can see it's raining and you can see everywhere is flooded. But in most civilized countries, those are some of the benefits you have of traveling there. Not necessarily they pick money from the flood, they also go there to hustle. I tell you, Nigerians are one set of individuals, they can adapt anywhere because they have that power to work. As for the case of a couple selling their own innocent young child because of traveling, that's height of evil. That's absurd. No matter what happens, you cannot bring a child to this world with the purpose of mortgaging the child's future because of your own benefit.
The couples that wanted to sell their son because they want to travel, I think is a very wrong idea. How will you sell your child because you want to travel? It's barbaric. It's an evil act. But for the traveling matter, people leaving the country, it's just because of the situation of this country. Things are not going well. You cannot feed 3 square, you cannot take 3 square meal any longer. And there are other things. You can't go to hospital and they will tell you it's free. So because of all these things around them, if I'm opportune to travel, I will.
That's a very bad decision. Very total. Something that a gift from God. You will not sell it. That is blood money. If you have source of traveling, it's good. Look at the rate people are dying. Look at the situation. Look at hunger. If you have opportunity, you can travel.
However, it was only this man who noted that it is possible for one to be successful in Nigeria despite the harsh economic realities, and people do not necessarily have to travel abroad to be successful. He added that there are so many opportunities looking at them in the face, and all they had to do is to grab it.
The country we are today, things are somehow difficult. You graduate from university, no job, you learn a trade, the atmosphere is not good enough for you to carry out your trade. So this is some of the reasons why people jackpot to southern countries, but it doesn't want the risk. The risk is too much because based on information available today, you find out that many people lose their life as a result of trying to cross the sea to other countries. So I think the government should still come to our needs to ensure that more awareness is being created for people who have this knowledge of traveling as a way of making money, that you can actually make it here in Nigeria.
The increased issue of jackpot syndrome has been for time now. The call is for the government to create an enabling environment for citizens to thrive, to avoid losing best hands to foreign countries. Esoa Osemege reporting for BeeTv News.
The Nigerian Customs Service anti-bunkering unit has seized a substantial haul of 13,750 litres of premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol. Addressing journalists in Lagos, the anti-bunkering unit coordinator Useni Ejibunu revealed that the interceptions occurred across various locations within Ogun State. The report.
The unit coordinator, Hussein Ejibunu, disclosed that the seized petrol holds a duty-paid value of 13.2 million naira, emphasizing that these interceptions were made over a span of just 3 days. He underscored the dedication and resilience of his team in achieving the milestone on a 3-day operation.
It's a 3-day operation. The first one was at Imeko, the second one at Owode, and the third one is at Ijong. Most of the seizures, like Ijong, it was intercepted where somebody passed a nozzle underground across to the next building, and they were there doing their normal business. That's why I told you it was on intelligence. We swooped on them. Otherwise, you will just be driving, you drive past the filling station, you will not see any activity there. You tell, oh, these people, they are not selling. But at the backyard, they are there doing their illegitimate trade.
Additionally, 9 vehicles used for transportation of the contraband were apprehended. Ajuno assured that efforts are underway to apprehend suspects who evaded capture utilizing clues gleaned from the seized vehicles.
We have recoveries of 9 vehicles. We have 7 present here, 2 at Abeokuta that could not be driven here. We have 9, total of 9 vehicles as means of conveyance. Through these vehicles, we will get to know the owners of those consignments.
According to him, the establishment of the anti-bunkering unit by the Controller General of Customs aligns with the vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ensuring Nigerians benefit fully from fuel price deregulation. Esoa Osemege, reporting for BeeTv News.
A significant 70% of Nigerians have refused to pay bribe when asked to by corrupt officials in 2023. The National Corruption Survey by the Interagency Tax Team has revealed. The report, which was presented by the IATT in collaboration with the African Union, European Union, the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption, United Nations Office on Drugs and for Democracy and Development, was presented in Abuja on Thursday at a seminar to commemorate the 2024 edition of the Anti-Corruption Day with the theme, Effective Whistleblowers Protection Mechanism, a critical tool in the fight against corruption. The report is presented by Oluwarotimi Oguniyi.
The guests seated here are not campaigning for elections, but deliberating on how to fight a common enemy, corruption. At a seminar to commemorate the 2024 Anti-Corruption Day by the Interagency Tax Team, with the support from partners, the stakeholders canvassed ways to end the menace and put the country in a positive angle in global ratings. The National Bureau of Statistics says the relevance of this survey is underscored by several insights provided in the report, such as the prevalence importance of bribery in the country, which remains significant, with 34% of citizens either paying or being asked to pay a bribe to access public services, but 70% of Nigerians refused to give bribe in 2023, according to the surveys.
From a lawyer's angle, all we have at the moment is a policy, and a policy without being coded, into a law is just like a toothless bulldog. You cannot really implement this. It's just like persuasive. I would want to encourage that the bill at the National Assembly be given all the force that it needs in order to become codified.
The Deputy Country Representative, United Nations, Office on Drugs and Crime says Nigeria is making progress in fight against corruption.
The share of bribery reports that led to the initiation of a formal procedure against public officials increased nearly threefold between 2019 and 2023, from 16 to 45%, while the share of those who experienced no follow-up after reporting reduced from 34% to 17%. Again, this is great progress.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, says the federal government is planning to review and amend the Procurement Act to block all loopholes for persons who facilitate corruption.
The bill is still pending before the National Assembly, and all hands must be on deck to ensure a speedy passage of the bill to strengthen and enable protection of whistleblowers that provide information for use by government or any of its agencies.
The Chief Executive of Anti-Corruption Agencies promised to continue to take their responsibilities with all seriousness and protect whistleblowers.
Going forward, 7 years after it was launched, the impact of whistleblowing on public accountability and transparency remains a matter of conjecture. Though we cannot discountenance evidence that the policy at the onset had some restraining effect on perpetrators of grand corruption, the momentum appeared to have been lost. And seriously speaking, corrupt public officials appear to have learned from the mistake of the culprits of the few discoveries recorded to cover their tracks.
I would like to use this opportunity to appeal to the National Assembly to pass the bill that is currently pending before the August body, at least so that people will have protection and that will give them confidence to come over. Otherwise, we will continue to have challenge, a challenge which will now discourage people to come.
The Director of Center for Democracy and Development says from the survey, there is hope for Nigeria.
We have supported in different ways by improvements of forensic capacities, trainings, and we have strengthened and led paths for making all of this possible in order to reduce crime related to corruption in Nigeria.
And with a public presentation of the survey, Nigerians expect a positive new beginning henceforth, with the optimism that hope will be reborn. Oluwarotimi Oguniye, reporting for BeeTv News.
The Nigerian Navy ship Delta has provided leading materials in all machines, pumping machines, overhead tanks, generator sets, jack and water pumps to 3 selected primary schools in Warri South Local Government Area of Delta State. Joyce Yeri tells us more.
Presenting the items, Commander NNS Delta, Commander Abba Musin, said the gesture was in line with the Operation Delta Sanity launched to stem illegalities in the maritime space. The commander of NNS Delta, who was represented by Captain Solomon Paul, led other officers and men to Olodi Primary School to hand over submersible pumping machine, overhead tank, slasher machine, and writing materials.
I'm really overwhelmed as the head of this school. I'm overwhelmed. Since this plan started, we have been really overwhelmed. In fact, I want to thank the Nigerian Navy for choosing us, for deciding to choose us for this initiative, for all that they have done for us. So they will say we are grateful.
Next is Cargo Primary School, as the management received slasher machine, submersible pumping machine, a generator set, and other items. Ojojo Primary School concludes the donation of items as the commander NNS Delta underscores the importance of this gesture.
The NNS Delta chose to conduct an educational rhapsody, and we didn't just go into that. Took time, went to identify some schools within our immediate environment, asked the schools for their immediate needs before taking further steps to address those immediate needs. We hereby encourage the teachers to always put in their best to make sure that these children come out well. And that is why, as part of our, on those books we gave them, we itemized some of these crimes within the society that we want these pupils to keep, wanted to keep ringing in their heads.
We are very happy because some of our needs have been met. And I also want to say a big thank you.
The Nigerian Navy ship data believe this is one of the non-kinetic ways of stemming the tides of illegal activities in the maritime area. Joy Siri reporting for BeeTv News.
Military, paramilitary and civilian officials of Western countries have ended a training in Abuja on improved ways to protect civilians in conflict situations. The dynamics of conflict place a severe burden on security forces and humanitarian agencies. The report is presented by Rebecca Goffey.
According to the UN, civilians account for nearly 90% of wartime casualties. This situation poses significant challenges to security forces responsible for protection and for humanitarian workers. This training in Abuja, organized jointly by the Martin Luther Agwa International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center, the Japanese government, and the UNDP, has enhanced participants' ability to protect civilians during conflicts.
You have learned the importance of humanitarian principles, international laws, causes and nature of conflicts in Africa, the United Nations legal policy frameworks on protection of civilians, mission life cycle and integrated assessment planning, tactical decision-making process, mission analysis and coordination with various stakeholders to ensure the safety or those affected by conflict.
Japan's commitment to civilian protection is reflected in our financial support for UN peacekeeping operations and other initiatives aimed at protecting civilians.
Armed conflicts often lead to devastating civilian casualties, massive displacement, and violations of human rights and international humanitarian laws.
The challenges are very obvious. And except you have the capacity and you are empowered, you might find it difficult to execute your mission in protecting civilians.
In addition to conflict mitigation, the participants are expected to be impartial in carrying out their assignments. Rebecca Goffey reporting for BeeTv News.
Now moving on to Abia State, about 10,000 beneficiaries of the 100,000 Naira interest-free loan believe that more funds will be made available to them once they do well in their micro businesses. BeeTv News Freeman Usawe tells us more.
It is the launch of the Abia State Cooperative Support Scheme and disbursement of 1 billion naira to 10,000 nano and micro business owners. Small-scale entrepreneurs drawn from the various wards in the state, they would receive 100,000 naira interest-free loan each to support their businesses.
I know it will go a very long way to elevate, to help me in my business. I sell clothes and other things that women wear.
I have to put it on my business because I sell clothes, wearing materials. So I'm going to invest it there immediately.
Governor Alex Oti says the target is to create jobs and reduce poverty. He promised to give special considerations to women and young people.
As soon as we begin to see a measurable rise in business consciousness amongst our people at the grassroots, we shall go into partnership with international development institutions and agencies to increase the pool of funds available for borrowing, so that instead of the initial 100,000 direct beneficiaries projected for the next 96 months, we can raise the estimate to about 1 billion beneficiaries or more. We have built a gift to Abia State. Now, to you beneficiaries of this novel project, you must count yourselves very lucky. Getting 100,000 naira is not easy anywhere. Of course, it is not a grant to the unknown, but it is an interest-free loan. It's my pleasure to present this check We call it dormitory.
The scheme is aimed at creating consciousness at the grassroots level and alleviating the living conditions of those who do petty business. Freeman Usawe reporting for BeeTv News.
1,500 vulnerable persons have received food items and cash donations in Adamawa State. The gesture is aimed at mitigating the economic hardship in the state. Joyce Yeri tells us more.
Special church service is organized to honor the immediate chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Adamawa State, Bishop Stephen Maza. Shortly after the service, vulnerable groups including people with disabilities and widows drawn from the 21 local government of the state were supported with food and non-food items. 1,000 of them received maize, salt, sugar, cooking oil, seasonings, mattresses, and wrappers, among others.
We want this to be done peacefully, and some of them are sick. They cannot stay here for long. And as you can see, some of them they are physically challenged. So please, we don't want too much hands in what we are going to do. That are bedridden. So we are going to take them to their own houses. So they are already, their own items are not included here. But the remaining ones, we want to go round.
In his remark, Mr. Emmanuel charged the beneficiaries to use the item judiciously as the country's economic situation is yet to improve.
This is part of my joy that makes me happy, to put the smile on the masses first. That's what makes me happy when I see someone in problem that I can help the person to change his life from bad to good. That's my joy.
Some beneficiaries shared their thoughts with BeeTv News.
Really, I'm very, very elated because for them to have remembered someone like me out there that is of less privilege, disabled, and called me out to come and help me with this. I'm very grateful, and I believe God that have put it in their heart will bless them so that they will also extend this gesture to other people.
Emmanuel Musa, I thank God that this man, God is the one that brought him into the world so that to help everybody in this society.
As the nation passes through difficult times, it's expected that well-meaning Nigerians should complement the effort of the government in reducing the hardship by reaching out to the vulnerable groups in the society. Joyce Ere reporting for BeeTv News.
The Lagos State government has officially inaugurated a 26-man Lagos State Social Protection Steering Committee. Commissioner for the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, as well as chairman of the 26-man committee. Mr. Okwe George says this marks a significant milestone in the state's government commitment to improving its well-being of its citizens, particularly the poor and vulnerable. He adds that a crucial step towards inclusive and compassionate society, aligning with Mr. Governor's Think Plus agenda and the National Social Safety Net project. Scale up.
The other thing that has happened, as a government, I think we've been a lot more aware of the fact that we need to take social protection seriously. Oftentimes when we have such committees like this, we tend to sort of lose the way a lot, but I think it's for us to be able to say, we're part of it, and our contributions are actually very, very germane.
What we have always tried to do is to accommodate the social protection register, but what we see is that there's usually an overlap. By the time we go through local governments to get into the CDCs and CDAs, we find out that the data we have also from SOCO is essentially a replication. So the CDC would have a larger pool of which what SOCO would provide to us would already be embedded within the CDC database.
The use of this social register that is going to be compiled by various MDAs apart from the World Bank approved ones, it will also help us to capture the right people in the society that need those equipments. Not only do we just give equipments and walk away, we go back to monitor.
For us in the labor sector, he is a governor that operates an open door policy, and he has paid the pensioners in Lagos State. This has not happened in many of the states in Nigeria. We want all the governors in the state in Nigeria, if they can copy Mr. Sanwo-Olu, Nigeria will be a better place for everybody to have a social protection that this governor is. So after the federal government, Lagos set the pace, and Lagos is a state where you be proud that you are a Lagosian.
And this is still BeeTv News on the hour. We will be taking a short break. Do stay.
Our dear Edo Central Senatorial District, here is a good news for you. As part of effort to promote quality education in the state, Honorable Prince Henry Odianese Okoji, member representing Eastern Northeast and Eastern Southeast Federal Constituency at the Federal House of Representatives, is set to enroll 150 interested applicants across Edo Central Senatorial District for the 2024-2025 admission program into the Department of Midwifery of St. Camilo's College of Nursing Sciences, Uromi, in Edo State. Interested persons are to ensure that they meet up with the needed requirements of the school. Mode of application. All interested applicants are to submit letter of interest addressed to the office of Honorable Prince Henry Odianese Okoji. All letters are to be sent through the various local government committee heads. Kindly note that all applicants are to submit a letter of interest on or before 23rd of July 2024 from the date of this announcement. Applicants are to contact the following phone numbers: 0805 170-3062 for Eastern Northeast, 0803 66-73127 for Eastern Southeast, 0803 234 1071 Igweben Local Government, 0803 425 1098 for Eastern West Local Government Area, and 0803 495 1556 for Eastern Central Local Government Area. This is indeed a fine opportunity. Don't miss it. Signed, Planning Committee. Oh yes, it is the time for Eastern people to produce the next governor. And the next governor, no doubt, is Senator Monday Okpebolo, a man of capacity, goodwill, resilience, a philanthropist of no equal, with a large heart for the downtrodden. This is to invite the general public, and particularly Edo Central Senatorial District, to a 1 million man march with Prince Henry Odianese Okoji, member representing Eastern Northeast and Eastern Southeast Federal Constituency and coordinator of APC Campaign Council, Edo Central Senatorial District. This 1 million man march is to demonstrate the people's love for distinguished Senator Monday Okpebolo, aka Akpakomiza, and Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, aka Mr. Project. This special 1 million man march will kick off from Angonaiti Junction, Uromi, Eastern Northeast Local Government Area of Edo State. Date: Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. Time: 9 a.m. My dear Eastern people, this is the time to rally around your son, Senator Monday Okpebolo, who understands your needs and will work for all Edo people. This message is brought to you by Prince Henry Odianese Okoji, member representing Eastern Northeast and Eastern Southeast Federal Constituency and APC Campaign Coordinator, Edo Central Senatorial District.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. We're moving straight into the business news segment of tonight. Nigerian players on the chessboard seeking solution to its energy crisis. An energy expert has called for a broader policy initiative that will take the country away from its present challenges. Speaking with journalists, the Chief Executive Officer, Energy Femi Adeyemo, said renewable energy stands the chance of changing the narrative. BeeTv News' Regina Ojomo has details of this and other business stories.
Executive Officer, CEO, Air Energy, Femi Adeyemo, said renewable can boost power supply in residential, commercial, and industrial sector, saying that Nigeria homes needs to be powered by solar. On the commercial and industrial side, he advocated a mix of renewable energy and grid power to power Nigeria industry. According to him, renewable energy and the grid can support the industrial sector because of weather condition, including cloudy weather, which supply from the grid can support. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made some key appointments at the Nigerian port authorities. Dr. Abubakar Dan Soso is the new managing director, while Senator Adebayo Adeyeye takes the helm as chairman of the board, according to a statement from the president's media advisor, Ajoru. President Tinubu expects the new team to bring excellence to the table, ensuring the efficient port service and improve outcome for the industry. Engineers under the aegis of Nigerian Society of Engineers have asked authorities to consider tender their input while offering job in the oil and gas industry under the existing local content legislation. The president of the NSE, Engineer Margaret Oguntale, voiced out concerns that the engineers who feels excluded when she called for a renewable effort to strengthen local content policies in the oil and gas industry. And that's it on Business News Tonight. Regina Ujomo reporting for BeeTv News.
Segment will begin from the Middle East, where about 71 people have been killed and 289 injured in an Israeli airstrike on the Al-Mawasi refugee camp near Khan Yunis, according to Gaza's health ministry. Let's join our BeeTv News correspondent Rebecca Goffey as she tells us more.
The Israeli army stated the target was senior Hamas commander Mohammed Deif, but Hamas denied this, claiming the attack killed defenseless civilians in an area previously designated as safe by Israel. Witnesses reported that rescue workers and air teams were targeted by Israeli forces upon arrival. Amjad al-Shawar from the Palestinian NGOs network described the incident as a massacre and criticized Israel for repeatedly targeting Palestinian civilians. Al-Shawar emphasized that the shelters in the attacked area housed displaced families seeking safety and condemned the international community's failure to pressure Israel to halt its actions against Palestinian civilians. Meanwhile, Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris announced plans to visit Kyiv in the coming weeks after meeting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at Shannon Airport. Zelensky stopped briefly in Ireland on his way back from a NATO summit in Washington. This marked the first bilateral meeting between the leaders in Ireland. Zelensky arrived at noon, greeted Harris warmly, and discussed various topics including demining, energy, humanitarian aid, and food security. Harris confirmed an invitation for Zelensky to visit Ireland officially. Zelensky expressed eagerness to address the Irish Parliament. The meeting followed a recent bombing of Ukraine's largest children's hospital and their last meeting in Switzerland in June. Medical Aid for Palestinians MAP has urged the UK government to suspend arms sales to Israel and prevent further atrocities. The charity had to temporarily evacuate one of its medical points near Al-Mawasi, which provides primary health care. Hezbollah claims that Musa Mohammed Suleiman, a member of the Amal movement, was killed in an Israeli airstrike in the Al-Qadar area of Lebanon. Suleiman was 60 years old and from Kafal Kila. And lastly, 5 people have been jailed for the murder of Ecuadorian presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio, who was shot dead while leaving a rally in August 2023. The assassination of the journalist turned politician known for his anti-corruption stance led to a state of emergency in Ecuador. 2 of the convicted individuals linked to the Los Bolos gang received 34 years and 8 months in prison. Carlos Edwin Angulo Lara, also known as El Invincible, ordered the murder from his jail cell, while Laura Dianara Castillo handled logistics. 3 others received 12 years sentences. Villavicencio's work exposed corruption and ties between organized crime and politicians, leading to numerous threats against him. And that's it on the Global News segment for tonight. Thanks very much for watching. I am Rebecca Goffey.
And on news from the entertainment segment, let's join our correspondent, Gift Workboy.
Afrobeat star Davido has ventured into the tech world with the launch of his social media app Chatter. The announcement was made on his official X handle on Friday, July 12. In the last 8 months, Chatter has become Davido's third internet project. Chatter, a social audiovisual utility platform, aims to connect content creators with a vibrant community and amplify their voices. This marks Davido's third foray into the digital space following the introduction of his cryptocurrency, Davido Coin, which unfortunately crashed days after its launch, sparking criticism from cryptocurrency enthusiasts. Introducing Chatter in a post via his X handle, Davido wrote, "Chatter is now live in the App Store worldwide." Davido's foray into the tech world continues to showcase his versatility and ambition beyond the music world. Nigerian hip-hop singer Ladipo Eso, popularly known as Ladipo, has opened up about the challenges he faced in the early stages of his music career. While in an interview, the Mavin record artist revealed how industry insiders initially doubted his potential for success in Nigeria due to his unique musical style. Also, Ladipo recalled how anonymous figures in the music industry attempted to discourage him. He added that they advised him to relocate if he wanted to pursue a career in music. Despite the skepticism, Ladipo chose to stay and follow his passion, a decision that has paid off significantly. That's it on Entertainment News tonight. Gift Uwagbo reporting for BeeTv News.
And on to the sports segment, the ongoing UEFA European Football Championship, a tournament which began in 1960, have always resonated positively with football and sport enthusiasts around the world. The Euro Championship have had 10 different winners since inception, and is currently being hosted in Germany this year. Ahead of the final fixture of the 2024 tournament in Germany between the La Roja of Spain and the Three Lions of England, slated for tomorrow, BeeTv News sports correspondent Uyi Lambert unveils the past winners of the UEFA Euro Football Championship in the last 64 years. The report.
The European Football Championship, informally known as the Euros, is UEFA's flagship competition for its member nations. The event boasts a rich history as it has been a worldwide sporting attraction for decades. Though the tournament first took place in 1960, the idea behind it was formed years before. UEFA's first General Secretary, Henri Delaunay, proposed the idea of a European national team competition in the 1920s. Delaunay's dream became a reality when the first edition of the Euros was held in 1960 in France, but the Frenchman did not live to witness the achievement, having died in 1955. In recognition of Delaunay's role in the formation of the new competition, the trophy provided by the French Football Federation was named after him. The inaugural Euros, a 4-team competition, ended with the Soviet Union emerging as winners after beating Yugoslavia 2-1 in extra time in the final in Paris. Spain hosted the next edition in 1964 and won the title by beating the holders Soviet Union 2-1 in Madrid. The 1968 tournament was won by host Italy, but their route to the final was packed with drama. The Italians reached the Euro 1968 final after a coin toss victory over the Soviet Union in the semi-finals, the only competitive European international to have been decided in such a manner. The coin toss was done after the teams played out a goalless draw in the semi-finals. In the title clash, Italy and Yugoslavia drew 1-1 and forced a replay 2 days later, which the Italians won 2-0 to leave the trophy on home soil. The Euros remained a 4-team tournament in 1972 and 1976 as West Germany and Czechoslovakia emerged winners in respective editions before the pool size expanded to 8 teams in 1980. Czechoslovakia 1976 title victory against West Germany gained popularity for Anthony Panenka's penalty antics. The attacking midfielder subtly shaped the ball up the middle of the goal, securing a 5-3 shootout win after the game remained 2-2 at the end of extra time. His audacious penalty kick was the first of its kind in international football and was later imitated several times by others as the style came to be known as a Panenka named after the Czech. In 1980, 8 teams participated as the tournament featured a group stage, a third-place playoff, and the final. West Germany won their second European title by beating Belgium 2-1 thanks to a brace from Horst Hulbergs, including a late header which sealed their win. 4 years later, France won their first major title at home as they defeated Spain 2-0 in the final, with captain Michel Platini gaining limelight with his 9 goals in 5 matches. The Netherlands won the 1988 edition in West Germany, beating the Soviet Union 2-0 in the final, which became famous for Marco van Basten's volley over the goalkeeper from the right wing. The Euro 1992 held in Sweden was won by Denmark, who pulled off a remarkable 2-0 victory over the then world champion Germany in the final. The next 5 editions saw a further expansion as 16 teams participated in the finals. Germany won their first title as a United Nations at Euro 96 in England, beating the Czech Republic 2-1 in the final, with the first ever golden goal at the major tournament, called by Oliver Bierwolf 5 minutes into extra time. The Euro 2000 was the first tournament to be held by 2 countries, the Netherlands and Belgium, and won by France, who were the reigning world champions at that time. The French came from a goal down and went on to beat Italy 2-1 in extra time, thanks to the winning golden goal by David Trezeguet. Greece pulled off a huge upset at Euro 2004 by beating host Portugal 1-0 in the final. At the start of the tournament, bookmakers were offering odds of 150-1 against the Greeks winning the tournament. Euro 2008 saw Spain dominate the tournament with their goal-scoring prowess, as David Villa finished as the top scorer with 4 strikes. They won the title that year after a 44-year wait, with Fernando Torres' Mexico sealing a 1-0 win over Germany in the final in Vienna, Austria. Spain became the first country to defend their Euro title in 2012, winning the tournament by thrashing Italy 4-0 in the final in Kiev, Ukraine. The Euro title victory followed their 2010 World Cup achievement as the La Roja became the first European team to win 3 consecutive major tournaments. The 2012 tournament was special for Torres, who became the first player to score in 2 Euro finals and finish as a joint top scorer with 3 goals despite only being used as a substitute during their campaign. From the 2016 edition, the tournament expanded to a pool of 24 participants. At Euro 2016, Portugal finished third in their group, yet made it to the final, defeating host and favorite France 1-0 to lift their first major trophy. Portugal's star player Cristiano Ronaldo suffered an injury in the first half, but Eder scored in the extra time to seal their fate. The 2020 edition was played in 2021 due to the delay caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In the unique event format, matches were spread across 13 different European countries. The final was held at London's Wembley Stadium, where England succumbed to a 3-2 penalty defeat to Italy after an extra time ended in a 1-0 draw. England had been hoping to end their 55-year wait for a major football trophy, but they ended the night experiencing the crushing agony of defeat as 3 of their youngsters, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, and Jadon Sancho, failed to convert their penalty kicks. For Italy, it was their second Euro title after their 1968 success. With the 2024 edition of the Euro tournament currently hosted in Germany and the finals already set between England and Spain tomorrow, an eventual winner must emerge once again to have their names etched in the books of European football history. And that's the special sport report for this weekend on BeeTv News. I'm Oyi Lamba. Thanks for watching. Good evening.
And that is where we close the curtains for tonight's news broadcast. Until we meet again, I am Esoya Osemegi.